Just to add to that, my problem was that I would give up too early on things. It's not just about you. It's about, people around you. And that's truly the essence of coaching, is that you can't force anyone to do anything, but you can inspire people to do others. Don't ever stop being curious. The reason why God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, it's to listen twice as much as we speak. I don't advise people to do too many things. I had to learn that. It's important to know that, you're feeling what you're doing. Yeah. Even people that make a lot of money on certain things, they might not be happy because money is not what makes people happy. We're so on autopilot that when things happen to us, big or small, we react. We can't get rid of grief, but we can learn how to carry it.
Hi, Sherry. Welcome to Let's Talk. Today we have the one and only, the man of the GTA, I call him. He's really a good man. And also he has a lot to share with us. We're going to learn a lot actually through this podcast. And let me welcome him himself. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a great intro. You took your notes.
Yeah, I had to. So please present yourself to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Jeff Chow, currently, what do I do? I'm currently into the coaching sector, which I started a coaching business about 2 years ago, about self-improvement and helping people become their best version. I also coordinate events. I've been coordinating events and some say, I guess, throwing parties from a young age. In my early 20s, I got into organizing like raves, what people would call raves. And then I did that as a promoter or an event coordinator from until now. I still do that. And then I'm a realtor as well. So I wear a lot of hats.
Yes.
I like to think I'm just an entrepreneur. I've fallen in love with working on myself as an entrepreneur and working for myself, I would say. So that's what I do.
Yeah. I remember actually the reason why I thought you would be good for Let's Talk. It's because everyone that I have interviewed so far, it's people who have done only one thing, right? And my goal for Let's Talk is to have an understanding of self-development and self-awareness. And I know you are specialized in that. And then also you are doing a lot of stuff, right? And I just want to know, because most of my interviews, it's like asking people how, okay, I want to become, let's say, I want to be a lawyer, right? How do I get there? And then I interview people who've been there to help us understand where they came from and how they got here, to encourage us to see they did it, we can make it too. But with you, it's okay, I don't only wear one hat, I wear many. So is it possible that a person, though you have interest in many things, you can still be able to get to do all of them at the same time?
Yeah, great question. Funny enough, I don't advise people to do too many things. I had to learn that. The term serial entrepreneur is not really a good thing. I've read a lot of books about just focusing on one thing. Most of us nowadays suffer from different levels of ADHD. We'll start something and then work on something else before the original thing is complete. I've had to trust what I'm supposed to be working on, but at the same time being aware of what to eliminate. So it's changed over the years. I think the biggest thing I will remind people about is to find clarity towards what it is that really speaks to them or what they feel aligned with, and then focus on that. Interesting enough, the things that we feel most passionate towards are likely the most challenging. I think it's just it's a law. I've learned to simplify it onto what really speaks to me, but also, I have to be practical about not putting my energy on too many things.
Question though, how do you know you are an entrepreneur?
I don't think I think it's everyone's different. What could be a real tell is when you do work for, say, a company or the corporate world, and it doesn't speak to you, or you don't feel like this is where you belong. The level of uncertainty that comes with entrepreneurship is not for everyone. I've learned through other coaches and being coached that or entrepreneurship is almost like a spiritual game. Sometimes it could be a mirror towards the things about who you are at that moment, or what's going on in life, who you want to become, and most importantly, where you need to heal. The challenges that come with that business almost bring out this person or character that you didn't even know. You know, that the tests and the challenges that you have to face every day of figuring out where your next paycheck's coming, the level of uncertainty is high, but I've learned to figure out my self-care practices and routines and rituals that provides peace of mind so I can continue on the path of entrepreneurship.
Wow. And then, you know how you did say that you choose, like you had to learn how to not do everything at the same time. How did you sit down and because I know some businesses, when you're starting, it may not give you enough finance right away or breakthrough right away, but the more you do it within a year or two, and then now you start seeing the good increase or progress, you know. How do you know from the early start to be like, okay, maybe I shouldn't focus on this, let me focus on this, to limit of doing everything at the same time?
I think it's different for everyone. Like, for example, I've been in the restaurant business for a good period of my life. I know it enough now to kind of critique businesses or restaurant businesses or anything to do with food. What people resonate or what people come back for is a good experience, and then consistency of that experience. So it kind of relates to you figuring out what it is you really do well. Like, rather than have 10 things that are mediocre, what's the one thing that you do really, really well? Okay. And so you kind of have to have that clarity or kind of figure that out to focus on, so you can have people or the clients or your customers know that that's what they are going to get, and that's the experience that they want. So you're providing that as your product or service. So that's why I feel like if you're stretching yourself out too thin or working on too many things, people can get lost in translation and not know what you're really doing or what you're really offering or what product you have or service that you provide. As an entrepreneur, you got to go through those take those L's or fail enough to know that, okay, maybe this is not working, so let me focus on that. It's important to know that you're feeling what you're doing.
Yes.
And that's where the self-awareness comes in, or the spirituality comes in. I'm lucky because I was a club promoter from like 23 to say 30, 31. Very intense lifestyle, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. No clarity whatsoever. But I did follow what I believed I was supposed to be doing, which was music, creating experiences, being hospitable. It's just I sacrificed a lot, and so I had to mature and grow up, and then I realized, wait a minute, I'm not where I'm supposed. This is not what I'm aligned with anymore. It's I had to keep searching. So you go on your journey and you search and you find maybe something else to work on. And I'm lucky because I've always had that awareness to know or take the risk. But my problem, funny enough, just to add to that, my problem was that I would give up too early on things. There's this thing called the cycle of emotional change, where I break down the different phases of what we do when we start something, and then typically with a lot of the stuff that we have going on and all the information and priorities and responsibilities we have in life, we get distracted and we just give up a little too early on things. You got to understand where you are on the journey. You have to create that belief and unwavering faith that's why it has to come from here. Even people that make a lot of money on certain things, they might not be happy because money is not what makes people happy.
So how does a journey start with when you're somebody who's like want to do a self-awareness, like self-development?
Yeah, so this is, I don't share this too often. I should share it more, but this is for me how it all starts. I think this is where the personal story for me, which shocks people sometimes, is that I was ill at a very young age. At 15 years old, I was diagnosed with it's what we call acute lymphocytic leukemia. I was sick and I was on my way to possibly not living at the time that they caught it. So again, I'm very grateful for the doctors or the people that I've had on that journey. As a teenager, I was in a 4-year protocol, radiation, chemotherapy, and a bunch of other stuff that any teenager would probably be like, what the hell's going on? And then 2 years into that, I was actually jumped and I ended up with a punctured lung in Sunnybrook Hospital. So the point of the story is that before 20, I experienced things that I feel the average teenager in Toronto or Canada would not go through. That doesn't make me any bigger, or I feel like everybody's going to go through their own shit in time. It did give me an awareness to know that I was going through things that an average teenager wasn't going through. Like I wasn't in school anymore. I decided to move out of my house. I also dealt with my mom being an alcoholic, so there was alcoholism where I was living on my own a lot. So by the age of 20, I was already, possibly even before that, I already left my house and moved downtown. But that's probably the big, if I look back, that was the experience that I went through that helped me understand the power of self-awareness. I didn't know how to harness that power yet, though. And that's when I realized that I also wanted to live my life like any young adult. I didn't want to be considered a cancer patient. Once I got into remission, I swept it under the rug. I didn't really share the story with anybody, and I continued to live my life the way I wanted to live it. And so that level of intensity was what drove me to do whatever I wanted. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do what I want to do, because I don't know if tomorrow's ever promised. And that's what's kind of kickstarted my whole life of entrepreneurship, but also having self-awareness. I just say it because it's a blessing to be able to sit here today and tell that story that contributes to the fact that who I am and what I am and how I become this way. And it's all part of it. Like I said, I don't know if I said it yet, but I truly live a life of gratitude. Gratitude to me is a superpower. It's a force field, and I can look back at everything that I've done, even the toughest things, the biggest challenges, and just be super grateful, because it is what made me who I am today. Yeah, so that's when self-awareness started for me. So I got a little bit of a good kickstart from the good creator or God or universe or whatever one may call it, right?
Wow, that story's crazy. How are you now? Are you better?
Yeah. So I don't know if you were familiar with the term remission. Remission. So I guess it's a political term, because back then or even now, doctors can't. There's no cure for cancer, but apparently we could be close to it. God bless to everyone that works in that sector or in the industry, hospitals or scientists. But you can't say, you're cured. So after I was done with my protocol, I was better. Some say I made it look easy. One thing, if anyone asked me on how I got through it, the way I got through it, it was if I can help others or share with others what I remember doing, was I never lost my sense of humor. So I think that was, and it's typical mindset stuff. I think you're going in there more what we call a parasympathetic state. Parasympathetic state is basically like a positive state. So if I'm going in there in that type of mindset, even as a teenager, I'm, reacting towards anything that's tough easier, or anything that's challenging easier. But yeah, I'm better. I've been better. I lived a very non-traditional life after that, because I got right into throwing parties or organizing events and promoting tons of clubs in Toronto. And I lived a very extreme life. I never had to pay for alcohol or drugs, or it was always around me. I think one day what happened was, though, I felt so guilty because I did have a second or third chance of living. And I said to myself, I can't continue to live like this, because there's likely not going to be a happy ending. So I had to find it within me to have the courage to walk away and follow my heart or follow my intuition to do something else. So I walked away at around 31, and then had to rebuild myself. Whatever we classify as sick, there's different levels of sickness. That was an illness, sure. If we're not taking care of ourselves daily, we can have mental illness, there's so many different sicknesses. So I've now matured or grown into a person that has identified how important it is to take care of ourselves. But I do feel that it's important that we honor ourselves in this miracle that we are as a human being, to be here and be in front of you and tell the story. I'm blessed that I'm healthy as ever.
Amen.
Yeah.
And quickly, so how many years would you say self-development took you to actually get where you are now?
Great question. I knew there was something more to me or to life. You know, I don't know if it was really going through the illness or going through the other things that I went through, but it just felt like there was always more out there. Even if you go back to the people that I partied with, like we'd stay up all hours of the night and I would just be so deep, and I would almost like annoy people because I would talk about things that people don't really talk about. I'll never forget the first book that changed my life or helped shift my paradigm was a book from an author named Robin Sharma, and it was called A Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. And I think it was cool because the metaphor related to how I looked at myself as a promoter in a fast-paced life is that you can have the Ferrari, you can have the money, you can have the girls, you can have all that, but you're still empty inside.
Wow.
It spoke to me at that time. I was thinking probably about 25, 26. Shortly after that, I was introduced to Deepak Chopra, which a lot of people may know. And then I started really falling in love with the spirituality of life. And then a lot of the Buddhism. I got into Buddhism. I started meditating. I started meditating at a young age, maybe about 27, 28. So when you start doing those type of stuff and you start implementing those practices, you start developing self-awareness and then start realizing that all that is part of self-improvement. And I think the awareness is important because that will help you notice what it is that you're doing that's not servicing you. So when I think about good habits, self-care practices, meditation, for me and my methodology of what I coach and how I've been living my life for the last 15 years, meditation is, I think it's over, the word is abused a little bit, and I think it's people are a little bit intimidated from the word because meditation is really just breath work. Beyond that, meditation is just sitting down with your thoughts in solitude. So
your thoughts, like you're thinking about.
Well, you're thinking, period. You're always thinking.
Okay.
Your brain is a computer. Yeah, well, look at it this way. Your brain is a computer. It's been processing since the day you were created, right?
Yeah.
And think about all the information it processes, all the experiences, all the relationships, all the duties, all the responsibilities. Your brain doesn't really shut off. You're always going to be thinking. That's what it does. It's actually here to keep us safe. It's a survival mechanism. And I can get into that.
Yes.
It maybe in another time. But why it's so difficult for people is to be alone or sit in solitude with their own thoughts, which is meditation, is because they put so much pressure or expectation on what it's supposed to do. Like, you know, you're just sitting down and kind of watching your thoughts, but not letting it affect your emotions, not letting it affect how quick you're thinking or what you're thinking about. And we're so on autopilot that it's quite shocking at first to be able to want to sit down in solitude just by yourself, alone with your thoughts. I think that right there is the first thing. If there's anything I can help people with, or I try to help people with, is just to do that for 5 minutes. Don't put any labels or expectations on it. Just get in the habit of waking up and honoring yourself for 5-10 minutes to sit alone with your thoughts. Then if you do that maybe for a week, then I might ask, well, did you notice anything? Did you observe anything with your thoughts? For example, how fast were you thinking? Or I might change it up and say, hey, can I ask, while you do that, can you just do me a favor and focus on your breath? And that's important. That's an important thing in meditation because it's hard to focus on your breath when you're always thinking.
Yeah.
So people get frustrated. They say, I can't meditate. This is not for me. I'm not going to be able to do it. And that's where the expectations and the labels come in. But I think what we don't do enough is kind of explaining it and making it less pressure on what it is exactly, and help or root on people to do it consistently enough. Because I guarantee you, if you can do sitting alone with your thoughts or focusing on your breath and honoring yourself, your soul, and not your mind, because it's always going to be there, you will slowly start developing your self-awareness, and you'll start noticing a difference in the universe. And the biggest thing I would say is your reaction towards life. The main three things is meditation, journaling, and exercise.
For meditation, is meditation like more spiritual, or is it like a body exercise?
Again, this is where I think people put too many labels. It's a great question. It can be spiritual. So there's so many different types. Like it's like the coaching field right now. It's a bit of a trend.
Okay.
And meditation, if you know YouTube, there's tons of guided meditations. So I think it does get a little bit. I think that's why I really encourage people to sit down for 5-10 minutes on their like. When's the last time you actually sat down before you started your day and sat down for 5 to 10 minutes and did nothing and was alone with your thoughts?
I would say as a Christian, it's a thing where like every morning you actually have to like really thank God. Like I just woke up, like, you know. And sometimes as Christian, like you can study a Bible, like a scripture, and you just like stay on that scripture. I think that's how I know meditation.
Right.
And then for you, the way you're explaining it, I love how you said journaling too, because I do journal. Journaling has helped me a lot, because I used to have a lot of anxiety, and that has helped me a lot to talk to myself and my thoughts, where I express everything out. So now it's like I'm getting better. So that's why I was asking, like, is it like a body exercise or is it spiritual? Because I know it on the side of being spiritual, where I take a scripture and meditate on that scripture, or pray and just stay there for like, you know, like an hour. Yeah, as you said, you start from 5 minutes until you find yourself, oh, I'm spending 2 hours just being here. And it gets enjoyable. But starting is hard. Like you start, but your mind is everywhere. You get it frustrated, but the more you do it, it gets better. So that's where I'm like how does it work?
It's a bit. I would say, you know, now that I think about it, it's probably a bit of both. It's definitely spiritual, because you know you're going inward.
Okay.
Right. It's also related to breath. This is where I have to remind people, like, meditation is eventually focusing on your breathing, and that's why sometimes when I help someone or teach someone to get into meditation, I won't even call it meditation. I'll say, hey, let's do some breath work. And so I have clients in the morning where I'll wake up and 7:30, even sometimes even earlier, and I'll say, hey, do you want to do some breath work with me? And I know that is secretly still meditation. So when it comes to the physical part, we're noticing our breath. And so all meditation really is stop noticing our thinking or mind and focusing on our breath.
Okay.
And what's going to happen is that right when you focus on your breath, you're going to go back to thinking. So it's clearly that. It's like you catch yourself thinking again. You're like, oh, and you're doing this in your head. You're like, oh, there it goes again. And then you come back to your breath. And you do that as long as, like, for me now that I've been meditating a long time, and if I can, without me thinking or focusing on whatever I'm thinking about, and I'm focused on my breath, the longest that I've been able to do that is literally like maybe 12 or 15 seconds, because the mind is going to continue to think. And I'm just very good, but doing it consistently for so long, I'm just very good at staying in the breath, or staying in a place that I've created, which is not the thinking anymore. And that is where the magic is. That's where like true abundance, true frequencies, vibrations, your true alignment towards what we're really here as miracles. Like it's something I've been able to discover, and it's a beautiful place. I really feel like I wish I could show people or help people get to that point in life, because it's done so much for me. My reactions, like there's a saying, I think it's from I think it's Viktor Frankl, one of the guys. He said there's a place between stimulus and response. And if we can find that place or live in that place as long as we can, it's a beautiful place. And that relates to like how we react in life, because we're so on autopilot that when things happen to us, big or small, we react. We don't even process, we just react. So there's so much amazing things can come out from just taking the time to be on your own in meditation or breath work, prayer. For example, I have a lot of Muslim friends. They would stop at their time in the middle of the day and pray. And I feel that is also in the same world of honoring yourself or meditation, because you're stopping what we're known as our responsibilities and priorities. Or it's a beautiful thing. And so it's all related. I think so. Amazing to hear that you take time for yourself.
Thank you. Yeah. But I have a question. When would you say it's a good time to meditate or journal? Is it like as soon as you wake up or later before you sleep? Yeah.
I believe I've been taught that so when we wake up, there's this thing called the theta state. There's quantum fields, there's theta state, there's different areas our brain can be in. Even more importantly, what I discovered is right when you wake up, what we call the theta state is the most impressionable part of the day for us. So when we want to learn or reinforce a habit, there's a part of us that, yes, there's like a time that we can implement these practices. For me personally, it's the morning. So I have I've created a course called like the morning method, and it's like an entry level course, because I've realized that a lot of the people that I coach or can help, it's more challenging for me if they're not morning people. Because I believe I'm such a morning master, I'm such a morning advocate, and I've built a lot of my foundations and fundamentals through creating the importance of my morning routines, or what I call now my morning rituals, that I believe, yes, you wake up because you're still in that kind of state, you haven't connected yet. That's why I say don't put your phone in, keep your phone outside, put it on do not disturb and keep your phone outside your room.
Wait, sorry. So what time do you wake up and you keep your phone on do not disturb for how long until?
So the reason why I put it on do not disturb, because I like guided meditation, and so my computer, this is kind of contradicting, my phone's never in my room. My computer is in my room because at night sometimes when I go to sleep, I'll listen to like Stoicism stuff, Alan Watts. I'll listen to a lot of philosophy, and that again, trying to influence or hit my subconscious on the things that I'm trying to teach myself, because I believe, there's areas that I can almost like cheat myself into thinking that I know, or teach myself how I want to be, how I want to influence. But so my computer is usually there. I'll fall asleep at around. People laugh on how early I go to sleep, but I love it. I go to sleep at like 9:30, 10, and then I'm up at 5, sometimes 4:30. Right when I get up, I have this kind of routine where I get up because I want to get the blood going. I get up from bed. I'll go make myself a tea, and then a green tea of some sort, and then I'll go right back to my bed and I'll get my computer and I put it on YouTube, and I have a folder of my favorite guided meditations from all the years that I've been doing it. The reason why I have my phone on do not disturb is because if I open up my computer and people have been messaging me throughout the night, those messages or noises could come up through the computer. It's Mac, Apple, they're all connected, right? So to prevent that, I have it on do not disturb, because I don't want to get sucked in. Your brain is like your mind and brain is dangerous that way. Right when you see an email, message, text, whatever, it's going to hit your ego, or it's going to hit something of worry or concern or something that you haven't done yet, and it will take you out of that theta state and distract you from what you're really supposed to be doing. And I've learned the hard way. So that's why my phone's never in the room. But so I'll go on my bed, I'll put my guided meditation on. And for now I do about 20 minutes.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll do 10 minutes, and I love it so much. I do it in a way where it's like, wow, like some days my mind's moving so fast. I'll be like, whew, got a lot going on, today, or a lot on my plate. And I kind of giggle about it, and just honor the fact that I'm very consistent with this practice. And then right after I do that, I have my journal on my bed. And I'm, like I said, I coach gratitude. I preach gratitude. I'm a gratitude advocate. So I've been in the habit through gratitude journals, but now I just have a regular journal, but I'll write consciously and subconsciously what I'm grateful for. And it could be anything. Like I'll likely write tomorrow morning in my journal that I'm grateful for meeting you, and I'm grateful for this experience and opportunity. And the deeper way of that is that when you're in gratitude, when you're in a state of gratitude or living gratitude, gratitude is the doorway to abundance. The scientifical, so I teach neuroscience, I teach behavioral psychology, and then spiritual, I guess, wisdom teachings. But I know that by being grateful or in a state of gratitude, I'm in, again, what we call a parasympathetic state, which is a positive state. I'm starting my day off in a state that's going to allow me to take action towards the things that I want, the desires that I want. If you're not in that state, or you're in a negative state, or you're feeling down, it's harder to get out of bed. So it's like a little bit of a mind hack too. So I'll journal 3-4 things that I'm grateful for. I'll go over my desires. I get really clear on what it is I want to put my intention towards. And it's part of the process of how I manifest, or how I maintain and focus on the things that I really want to work on. And then something we were talking earlier is the hardest part of it all, which I have really added in maybe only a year or two, the power of surrendering. And this is maybe something that you can identify more with because of your relationship with God, was surrendering and, letting go and letting God on allowing things to just do its thing.
No, I agree. Thank you so much, Jeff. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching Bella Let's Talk. We appreciate you. I expect a part 2 because we still have a lot of questions to ask and to learn more about self-development. And he really has a lot more to share. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.